Hello, everybody. As you can see today, I am finally making a video about Kane Pixel's Backrooms series. I have seen this many times because I enjoy rewatching the same videos over and over again. And since I am planning to see the Backrooms movie in theaters live, well, not, live, but like, in the theater. Anyways, I thought, why not actually do a proper reaction/analysis video of at least one of Kane's videos before I go see the movie on the big screen. You know what I'm saying? I am so excited to go see the movie. Yeah, let me just get right into it. And yes, I did skip a little bit ahead to like the first minute just so you guys would have something to look at during this first minute of footage, because otherwise it'd just be a blank screen. And I don't know about you, but if I pulled up a YouTube video and it's just a blank screen, I would probably click off. Wait, are there? Oh, that's comments. Ha ha ha. I thought those were the closed captions. I love closed captions. I don't always put them on my videos. I put them on the videos that I script, but not really on the ones where I'm just like rambling. Anyways, let's get into it.
Sound, camera,
rolling.
all right.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it. And you're probably thinking, really? We're not even a minute in. It's 8 seconds. You're not Matt Pat or whoever. No, I'm not. I am me, and I will do as I wish. So, first off, we have a framing device, right? Someone put in this VHS tape into their TV, right? So, we are not, in fact, watching this live through the cameraman's perspective. We are watching this after the fact, after someone has found the VHS itself, or the camera itself. And here we have an explanation for why our cameraman has a camera in the Backrooms. This is a little bit of, maybe not necessarily a problem, but I'll use the word problem anyways. This is a bit of a problem that Backrooms and liminal space video creators have to deal with, which is why does our character have a camera in the Backrooms? Like, why did they just have that with them? That's not like a normal thing to be like holding in your hands when you fall through reality. And some video creators, for instance, GeoDeo26, check out my video on them. Shameless plug there. But what they did for their videos was they just started the video in Backrooms. Like, there's no framing device. There's no like explanation for why they have it. They just do. So I'm not very familiar exactly with this clapboard thing, so sorry about not analyzing this, although this does appear to be take 4 of scene 7A. So that's exciting. Yeah, and I can't read that. I'm probably not supposed to be able to read that. Oh, camera. I'm gonna have to cut that part out. Okay. Me trying to pronounce the cameraman's name, presumably. Yeah, I don't know what that says. I'm sorry. Hopefully that's not an actual, like, name and it's just, like, Kane making up something. Although if that does actually say Kane, that'd be kind of funny. Okay, so.
And
continuing.
action. All right, cut.
Okay. I'm gonna cut because the guy said cut. But let me explain. Actually, not have that be the screen we cut on. Let's have this be the screen we cut on. Yeah, this is pretty good. Okay, so you might be wondering, why am I pausing here? This is not the Backrooms. This is not the content we came here for. Au contraire, friends, because you see, Kane is an amazing storyteller. Okay, that's why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to analyze his storytelling and kind of see how it's evolved from this first Backrooms video to the movie when I go see it, because I'm so excited to go see that. Okay, anyways. So again, this is part of the framing device. A couple of friends are out filming their own movie, basically. And it looks like it's going to be a horror movie. So we have some, regular guy, but we have this other person over here wearing a monkey mask, and he's going to jump scare the regular guy, right? That's spooky and scary, except, for the fact that's, daytime. But it has to be daytime so you can actually, see what's happening, because they don't have, big lights around. Why am I pausing here exactly? Well, it's the monkey mask. This is foreshadowing. This is foreshadowing the entity that our cameraman will encounter in the Backrooms. And you might be thinking, oh, but the entity in the Backrooms doesn't look anything like this monkey. Au contraire, I say yet again, because this has to do with the uncanny valley, right? So when someone says that something is uncanny, that means it almost looks right, but something is wrong with it. Essentially, well, not essentially, I'll make my words together. So when some people have the uncanny valley effect, it basically means that they see something that looks human, but something is off about it. There's something not human enough about it. I suspect that that's why I've always had a little bit of trouble with claymation movies until somewhat recently, especially when the claymation is supposed to be of humans. And I'm like, that ain't human. It kind of looks fleshy like a human, but that's not a human. People also get that effect with certain dolls, or animated cartoon characters. I think some people actually got it with the Frozen characters, and I can see why, because their eyes are huge, their noses are really tiny, their head is big, their hands are very small, and obviously they're a cartoon, right? But they're not exactly human looking. And if you ever remember the uncanny makeup trend, that's kind of what that makeup trend is referencing. So in that makeup trend, let me ramble a little bit about that, because I loved watching those videos, because I was like, oh, that's so cool, I could do that too. Basically what they did was they used their makeup to make themselves look not quite human, like there's something mimicking a human, basically. And so in those videos, they would basically paint their whole face in one foundation color, and then they would draw a line to make their mouths look wider. They would get black eyeshadow or something and put it right over their pupils on their eyelids. And from a distance, that makes their eyes look taller and their mouth look wider. They also painted the bridges of their nose to make them look smaller. And they did something with their cheekbones. Maybe it was blush, or maybe it was some kind of contouring. I think it was both, to make their cheekbones look higher. Basically making themselves look like a somewhat distorted human. What is a monkey if not something that looks almost human, but is not. You might be thinking to yourself, no, monkeys don't look human. They look like a monkey. Well, I would disagree with you with that in part. Because I remember watching like National Geographic, Planet Earth documentaries, and whenever they would show the monkey, I'd be like, ugh. And I never really understood why. Because other people look at a monkey and go, "Oh, that's so cute," or look at the little monkey swinging through the trees. Or they would look at like an orangutan and go, "Oh wow, it looks like it knows a lot of stuff. Like it looks like a wise creature, you know." And I would look at it and go, that looks it looks both ugly and scary. Like I feel afraid of this monkey and this orangutan. Although technically you probably should be afraid of orangutans because they're really big. I digress. And then I learned about the uncanny effect, and I learned basically that, or I came to the conclusion. I came to the conclusion that that's probably why I'm like afraid of these animals. Is because they almost look human, like especially in the eyes. If you ever look at like an orangutan's eyes, in like one of those Planet Earth documentaries, because they always do those extreme close-ups on the animal. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll be like, yeah, that does almost look like a human, but not. It wasn't until I actually saw like a monkey and a gorilla in real life at a zoo that I went, oh, they are actually cute. Or they are actually majestic and interesting, and at a respectful distance, they're not terrifying. I'm not sure why that is. Anyways, we have, this, monster, basically. How is he making himself a monster? By putting on a monkey mask. I don't have a good transition here, so I'm just gonna click play again.
Alright, cut. That was good.
Oh, and you see how like, wait, let me do this again. You see how he like comes around the corner too? Like he's like climbing around the corner. That's not how humans walk around a corner. That's more like how like an animal or maybe an entity pretending to be a human who maybe doesn't understand how humans move would come around the corner. So there's some uncanny movement as well. And then he jumps.
That was good.
Yeah.
Good, guys. Alright, that was good. I'm thinking we get a wide angle and then we're done. Okay?
Alright, yeah, cool. Like how much further? Like
a little more.
By the way, that's Kane's voice, in case you didn't know. You probably did know that, actually. What am I saying? Y'all are smart. You guys know things.
A little more.
that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, and then here we go. The classic, iconic transition. Yes, and the title. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's so good. So, fun fact about this particular text here, a short film by Kane Parsons. This is non-diegetic text, by the way. What does diegetic and non-diegetic mean, you may well ask? Well, diegetic means that the characters in the movie can see it or experience it. So like diegetic sound. In the Backrooms, there's the constant humdrum of the lights flickering. That is diegetic sound because the cameraman can hear it. The cameraman who is the main character. The characters can hear it, basically. Non-diegetic means that the characters cannot experience it. It's just for the audience. So this is non-diegetic text. This was added on for our benefit. If we go back to the framing device at the very beginning, which I'm sure you guys are thrilled about, this text is diegetic. For the person who is presumably watching this VHS tape, but the person who put in the VHS tape into their TV, again, they're not seeing this. This is not diegetic. They did not add this in. This is something that Kane put in for us, the audience, the meta audience, if you will. Oh, and I love this angle, by the way. It's a really good perspective angle, and look how it perfectly, well, not quite perfectly, but almost perfectly cuts the entire frame into this diagonal. That's a very bold composition there. Normally when I do image compositions, I think of the rule of thirds. I'll have an important object on at least 3 key points of an imaginary grid on my image. So if this were in the rule of thirds, there would be an important object here like this light, another important object here like this column, and then over here there would be a third thing where the Parsons is. But yeah, look at that. Oh, that's so good. Oh my goodness. And then there's this other diagonal here formed by the lights pointing this way, deeper into the complex. Oh, that's so good.
Hello?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to pause it here. It's so beautiful. I almost can't stand just how beautiful this is. Okay, and I do want to say, I watched all of the trailers for the Backrooms movie, and in one of them, the main character says, "It's kind of terrifying, but it's also beautiful." And I'm like, yes, you get it. You get it. There's an incredible beauty here. And again, we have, great composition here, of course, because even though he's trying to make it look like this is a real place that's kind of off, it's not really part of reality, but it is, but it isn't. We still have all of these fascinating lines that draw your attention deeper in. These areas of shadow that contrast with all the bright yellow here that again draws you deeper in. Oh, it's so cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's keep going.
Hello? Hey guys.
What is this?
Oh, dude, I love this shot so much. Oh my goodness. Dude. Just the overwhelming oppressive shadows cut by this bright light. And the light is, it's really bright, like we see here with the fluorescence in the ceiling, that's white, and you can even see there's a little bit of the edges right here are have a little bit of color distortion going on, which you would see in an extremely bright light, that kind of mimics how our eyes work. Oops, that's a little further than I wanted. And then over here we see, the lights are really bright, but they're also kind of weak in a way. Just look how quickly they fall off into shadow. There's no secondary, you know how when you look at a semi-dark room, if you will, sometimes there's patches of lighter shadows? You know what I mean? Kind of right here, there'd be a patch of a lighter shadow, and then a darker shadow, and then the darkest shadow. Here it's just light, little bit of darker shadow, and then just black. And that creates this really sharp contrast. And oh, it's so beautiful. I'm gonna say that pretty much the entire video because that's true. It is beautiful. This is amazing. It's very. I guess it kind of reminds me of like abstract art in a way. Which a lot of people are like, abstract art isn't real art. It is real art. We've just not really been taught that art doesn't have to have a subject that reflects reality. Like, it can just be, like, the subject doesn't have to be a person or flower or food. The subject could be color. It could be shape. It could be shadow. And that's what I'm seeing here. Like, that's what the subject is a hallway, excuse me, but if you were to just take this screenshot totally out of context, that's what most of it would be. It would be color, shape, shadow. And by paring it down to those like basic essentials, it makes everything more dramatic, more intense, because there's less to focus on, so you're focusing more on it. That makes sense. Like if you were to look at like a hyper-realistic painting of a bowl of fruit, for instance, which takes a lot of time and a lot of skill, there'd be so many details to look at that you would just like hone in on like one particular like highlight or like a shadow, and then you would zoom back out, if you will, to like look at the whole. And there'd be so much to look at. And here there's not a lot to look at. Your eye is drawn here. Like this is all you can really see. And so it's all you can think about.
Hello?
Oh, okay. I know what you're thinking. You're going to talk about the entity now. No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about this. Because I thought... Okay, there's a little bit of an illusion happening here, right? I don't know why I thought there was going to be like another wall here. Like this was like leading you into this room. But as you get closer, the lighting doesn't change around it. It's this solid black rectangle. Is there floor there? Is there still wall there? Or is that like a floating room? Because it looks like a floating room, doesn't it? Because there's no like other lights here. And like, how is there light here and none of it is spilling out? Which is why it looks like it's floating, because if there was a floor here, at least a little bit would spill out, right? But if there's nothing there, there's nothing for the light to spill out on. Anyways. See, look how he's getting closer to it, and the square is getting smaller. The yellow square is getting smaller, and the black ground is getting bigger. So cool.
Hello?
Ah, yeah, and then we have the entity coming around the corner. So cool. And, like, it's such a good tease, because you can barely see it. Oh goodness. Wait, is that an arm?
Hello?
Oh, man. It's, like, barely on screen.
Hello?
It's like a little suggestion of a head, maybe, and like a little suggestion of an arm. You can't see it here, of course.
Hello?
It's on for less than a second. Less than a second. Like, that's 13 seconds. And this is 14. It's gone. Oh man, it is such a good tease though, because like you see it and it doesn't really matter what it looks like because you see the movement, right? You see the entity move back immediately upon. I wonder, you think he used the same like model that he has for the entity in that shot, or do you think it's just like a shadow he rendered or like a different model or something? Because again, doesn't matter what it looks like as long as the viewer can see the movement. That's the part that gets you, right? All right, let's keep playing it here.
Is someone there? Someone there?
Okay, I'm gonna pause here again, just real quick, because I just want to say, look at this perspective shot. Like we turn behind us, right, to look, or the cameraman, excuse me, turns around to look behind him. He sees nothing. Slowly pans back around. Like he doesn't like. You see how he slowly just turns around. You get this full shot of the wall here, all the way back to the square that he's walking towards. For one thing, that's so cool. But also like normally when you're turning around in a hallway, like you turn around really quickly. He's turning around slowly because he's afraid. Like this is a really good way to show that, you know, our cameraman, our perspective is afraid of what's going on here because, you know, earlier he was calling out for help, like, hey guys, where'd you go? Sees movement, and whenever caused the movement, immediately hides. That's not good. You know, someone's following you, maybe. Maybe it was a trick of your sight, who knows? And he just slowly turns around like he doesn't really want to turn his back, you know what I mean? Oh, that's so cool. So this is just neat from like a world building perspective. We have this entire like hallway environment behind this little crack in the wall, basically, that just keeps extending and extending on and on and on. But like no human can reach it. That's way too narrow for a person to pass through. I mean, you can maybe pass like your arm and like a hand through, and you can like hand stuff to people, I guess. But you can't go through that. And so it just kind of reinforces the idea that this environment was not designed by people, and it was not designed for people. Because if it was, you would be able to go through these walls here. But you can't. Oh, I forgot about this part where he zooms in. Hold on a second. You see, he zooms in, and then it's kind of hard to see because he keeps moving the camera around. But it looks like doors at the very end, right? They're kind of swinging back and forth a little bit. That may just be an optical illusion, or an optimal illusion, as some might say. Let's look at that again. You see that? Kind of looks like. I think that may have just been an illusion, but I like the idea of it moving. Because maybe, was someone just there and they just left through the swinging doors? Woo! Okay, now we're walking through a black tunnel of shadows, so I guess there is floor here. You can, like, barely see it, though, because of how weak the lights are. Like, I'm saying weak, there's Oh, there's a bunch of technical terms that I'm not familiar enough with to really use, but like the light is like all concentrated right where the light fixture is, and there's no like, I don't know, extra radius coming off of it, which is not a flaw. No, this is all very intentional because we get this amazing frame right here where we're going. So good. And we come upon a room that has like these, not really cutouts, but like little indentations where maybe it would be opened up, but it's not. Kind of looks like a dead end. I think you can go through here. And of course, there's this ladder right here, which is another aspect that many people have used when creating Backrooms and liminal space videos, which is, since there's so little things in the environment, since it's so sparse, adding one different thing draws your attention immediately there. Like, you can even see the cameraman's like turning straight towards the ladder. He's not looking towards, the obvious hallway right here that he could go through. That would be a lot easier for him to walk through. No. He wants the ladder. Because it's different. And we cut the part where he's climbing up, and presumably that is diegetic. Like, probably the cameraman like turned off his camera to climb up so that he wouldn't have to be like climbing up the ladder basically one-handed trying to get a good shot of it, Possibly still would be one-handed unless he has like a lanyard on his camera. He probably does have a lanyard on it for safety reasons. So he climbs up, diegetic cut, going through this tunnel into a green room. Whoa, different. Okay, so here's what I mean when I say like shadows of like varying intensities. Okay, so bright yellow entrance right here. And then we have this like long, not quite shadow, not quite light. It's like an illuminated shadow, if you will. So you can actually see the path and it's drawing you towards it. And then on either side, we just have black. Right here, there's a little bit of a transition, maybe. But for the most part, it's very sharp. It's like, there's a little bit of blurring, just a little bit. And then, like, we have this like gray-green here and then black. Right there. And I think it's the reason why Kane made it a little bit easier to see here is just because there's two large light sources coming from different hallways. And one is green, and the green makes you think, oh, we're going maybe somewhere new, maybe somewhere different, maybe we're making progress.
Can anybody?
Oh, whoops. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pause here. We'll get to his dialogue in just a second. So, another thing that I want to point out about the camera is that there's no peripheral vision on the camera. Your peripheral vision is when you can kind of see something out of the corner of your eye. You can't really see a whole lot out of the corner of your eye, but you can see like movement, you can see like colors. The camera doesn't have that. It is straight on. Only what is right in front of it is what the camera can see. I remember watching Wendigoon actually reacting to one of Kane's videos, actually with Kane and Alex, the creator of the Mandela Catalog, in the same Discord call, which was really cool to watch because they have a lot of really interesting things to say about like the creation of the video and everything. But like one of the things Wendigoon points out is that it's so easy to jump scare from the cameraman's perspective, and that is true because there's no periphery. And like if you're actually in like a horror movie situation, you would see something out of the corner of your eye and turn around. Here, like the camera can't do that. If it wants to look at something, it has to turn. And so the cameraman would actually react before the camera. Oh, you actually see that here. Remember this?
Hello? Is someone there?
He reacts, and then the camera sees. So there's a little bit of delay because the camera is not the cameraman, right? That is something that is somewhat challenging in these Backrooms videos. Is how do you show the perspective in like a realistic way? In Geo26's videos, the camera is the cameraman, right? And that's actually a deliberate choice that they make, because you find out at the end of one of the videos that, the camera seems to have been affected by being in the back rooms. It seems a little bit like it might be an entity of sorts. Maybe. And that's why in those videos, the way the cameraman reacts, it's always its perspective, if you will. Although I could be wrong, because it has been a little minute since I've seen them. I'll have to watch them again, of course. And maybe I'll do a live reaction to that, even though I've already done like a big analysis video on it. We'll see. Wouldn't want to reuse too much content, as you know. Okay, let's get back here.
Can anybody hear me? Hello? Damn it.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's called for anybody, isn't it? Or at least it feels that way. Because, again, of the cuts, which are probably diegetic. So I've worked with like a real camera a little bit, not a whole lot. But basically the camera that I had, because I rented it from my university for a project, the battery did not last very long. And so I had to keep like recharging it and everything. And I also had to be conscious of how much space I was using when I was recording. Because if I use too much space, I'll have to go through and delete some in order to record more. And so possibly that's what, diegetically the cameraman is doing here, is conserving power and space, and only filming the parts that are of particular interest to him. Interesting to note that he turns his camera on and then calls for help. Because that's important, right? That's an important thing for him to do, and be therefore worthy of being recorded and filmed. Okay, continuing.
Can anybody hear me? Hello? Damn it.
Okay, it's a little hard to see here, but we get another glimpse of the entity. Did you see that? A little bit of a movement of an arm. Again, we can't see it. We can't see the entity. We have no clue really what it looks like, except maybe it has an arm. The important thing is that we see the movement. And since it's in such like a dark area, the cameraman, and by extension the camera, does not react to it. Like, yes, he's going that way, as you can see, like, where he's pointed towards. But there's no, like, jump where he reacts to it. It's more like, oh, that's just another shadow, you know. And he approaches it without the hesitancy that a person might have if they had just seen that. There's no pause. It just keeps going, is what I mean. And it stays kind of in the corner of the camera, which is as close to like peripheral vision as you could probably get with this. And there he heard something. What did he hear? I'm hearing like a bump in the background, which kind of almost sounds like a heartbeat. Hold on, was that audio playing beforehand? Hold on a sec. Yeah, it's like the sound of him like jostling the camera in his hands. He hears something, senses something, maybe sees something from the corner, turns around. Okay, that's interesting because when he walks into this room, like, I immediately see the arrows drawn on the wall. But look what he does instead. He doesn't, like, focus in on the arrows, right? Look what he does. Presumably he sees the arrows, right? But before he really looks at them, he looks to the right, he looks to the left, he looks right again. He looks up. Now he goes towards the arrows. Which makes it which does, imply, of course, that he's using the camera as his eyes at this point. Like, he's not, like, just holding it and looking around. He's actually looking through the camera lens at this point and just kind of keeping it on his face, you know? Now he looks at the arrows. He's probably getting a little bit more paranoid here, because he senses that something else is here. He hasn't really seen it, but he's aware. He's becoming more aware of it. And so instead of focusing immediately on the brand new thing, he checks around him first a little bit. It's not a very good check. See, that's a good check, but the one to the left was not. He looks up. There's nothing there, of course. Although gamers never look up. So it's a good thing he did look up, because there could have been something on the ceiling.
Okay.
And you hear him saying, okay, because he sees the arrows, which imply that there's another person down here, or at least there has been another person down here, right? And so he's starting to calm down a little bit, like, oh, okay, maybe I'm safe. Someone else was here before me, and they're telling me to go this way. Cool. And then he comes upon this deranged art piece, which, yeah, that's a very natural reaction there. We'll get a little bit closer to it so we can see more of what they've got drawn. Actually, wait a second. There's some other little drawings over here that he doesn't look at.
What?
It kind of just looks like someone took a Sharpie and just drew lines.
What the hell?
Okay, yeah, we have like horizontal tally marks basically. Some text here, and they drew a window. They drew a window with like the sun and like mountains. That's kind of high up on the wall, isn't it? Like if our height is like right where this like face is, which that's a very interesting drawing of a face. It's a little uncanny, you might say. How did they draw that? He zooms in. No. I got pause like right there. Because what does that text even say? Ah! I don't know what that says. It's too blurry. He zooms in. Interesting that he zooms in. He doesn't get closer to it. He zooms in. And that actually does really look like something that person drew. Like, look how they drew the sun. Like, that's not a circle. That's like, it's like a funky oval. And then we get the text here, don't move, stay still. And look at how they wrote these letters. It's very chaotic. We have like a capital T on the don't, no apostrophe, and then down here with stay still, we have lowercase t's that are crossing over the other letters. Like this one's on top of the S, this one's on top of the S and the A, and in fact, it's making the little bar in the middle of the A, although that's probably supposed to be the actual bar there. But yeah, look at that. That's an odd way of writing it. And look at the angle. So here it's like angling upwards, and then the E is going like down, like it's a different hand almost writing it. So, let's see. Yeah, it almost makes me think of like when people write in cursive, there's a different slant depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed. There's like a completely different slant here on the E. It's very erratic. What might this tell us about the person who wrote this message? Perhaps they are becoming a little erratic themselves. They might be unraveling a little bit. Fear may be taking over, and so instead of considering exactly what they're writing, they're just thinking, I gotta get the message across. I can't be thinking about my handwriting. I'm not in school here. It's just so neat. And look how they wrote the N. Like, it's not even on the same level as the D and the O. It's going like, whoop. And of course, you all know what's about to happen in the next second. So let's just back it up a little bit and enjoy it, right? I do wonder, though, about this drawing of the face, though. It's so specific. Like, why draw that? Is it maybe like a self-portrait? Are they trying to remember what a person looks like? Are they trying to think of what a person looks like? Like, oh, I think this is what they look like. Here we go. Yeah, that looks about right. Except, it's all pupil, no sclera, no iris. There's a cool illusion of like the eye kind of coming out a little bit over the eyebrow. I do like that. That's fun. Maybe a little bit of like bags right there. But yeah, I wonder why draw that? I know why they drew this. I can perceive why. Like they miss, the outside and they feel trapped, so they drew it through a window, right? Like they didn't just draw the sun, the mountains, they're looking through something else to see it. But I do wonder, how tall are we in comparison to this? Because it feels like we're about like right here in height, right? Okay, and if we're right there, we could draw that. Our arms could reach up and draw that. Okay, I was kind of thinking, what if the entity drew that after, like, what if it was like a human, right? And then they became an entity and got taller, and they drew that at the top. But, that's just an idea. Oh, yeah. Oh, that part's so good. Oh my goodness. And then you finally see, like, what's been following him. Don't move, stay still. But he's not moving until he hears the entity, right? And like the message is telling you, don't move, stay still, presumably to protect you from the entity, right? Right. Then when he's not moving, or at least relatively not moving, because he's not walking or running at this point, he's just like, he's literally still here. He's reading the message that says, don't move, stay still. Then the entity roars and comes chasing him. So who wrote this message, do you think? Could it have been a human? Or maybe the entity is lonely and this is like a trap. That maybe they wrote this message to get people to stay still for just a second so they can come get them. I don't know, that's just an idea. Oh, I just realized there's handprints. Look, there's little handprints. How did they make those handprints? How did they do that? What materials are down here for them to make that? This is not criticism, this is a real question. Just want to be clear. And it kind of looks like, it says right here, like, it hears you, but that is very clearly not the same handwriting. Right? Someone else wrote that. Maybe it only came because the cameraman reads it out loud. Oh, that's so cool. I wish it would stay on screen just a second longer. Okay, there it is. That's a good frame right there. Oh, look at that. Okay, so remember the guy wearing the monkey mask at the beginning? Here's our payoff, kind of. We have an uncanny monster approaching us. He is rapidly approaching our location. He kind of looks like a stick man, doesn't he? A stick man with a very long torso. And look where his head is. It's like right at the ceiling. Maybe that's a hand? Anyways, let's enjoy the chase. Okay, pausing the chase. Again, because of course I am. Notice how the entity sounds. It sounds kind of sad, doesn't it? You know, maybe the entity just wants a hug. Do you ever think of that? Maybe it's not a monster. It just wants company. And this guy is being super rude and not staying still and not giving him a hug. Maybe we should do that in the Backrooms. Maybe if we get in the Backrooms and there's like a monster, we should give it a hug. Don't do that. Unless you have a camera with you, then we can all like learn from your example. But yeah, it almost sounds like he's saying, don't go, come back. Doesn't it sound like that? It sounds like the entity is saying no. The cameraman should turn around and, I don't know, they could have a tea party or something. And here he is running back the way that he came from, right? Like he remembers the same path. Which means he has a great memory, because I would not be able to do that. If any of you have watched my Dream Core videos, you know. Oh, and then here he gets someplace he gets into a different place. It looks like a hall of mirrors, except it's literally a hallway. Like there's no mirror, there's no glass, but it looks reflected because it's so perfectly symmetrical and parallel. Oh, it's so cool. And there comes our stick man getting closer to you, buddy. See, cameraman, you're being very rude right now. You come into somebody else's house through the ceiling, not through a door. You fell through the ceiling of this guy's house. You started filming everything you saw. You climbed through his ladder. You judged his artwork. And then now you're running away from him. You gotta have some manners. And then he jumps through the hole, which the entity does not follow him through it. Interesting that the entity does not follow him. Of course, if it did follow him, then the chase would continue, and then we might not have a story. Or we wouldn't have as much more of a story as we will in just a moment. But yeah, we get a cut here also. Is this diegetic or non-diegetic? Could be either. Maybe he like pressed the power button really quickly as he fell. Of course, it could be non-diegetic. Maybe whoever exported the VHS put a cut here as like, this part's not important or whatever, you know, like this is the part where he falls, you know. We don't need to see every part of him falling through the floor. Classic liminal space photo right here. I don't know where this photo was taken. I mean, presumably in a house, right? That's classic. Oh, and look at the framing. Like he even made it look like the photo, because there's just nothing around it. It's just all black. There is floor here because our man is walking. But there's just this perfect, like, hard line right here. Instead of being curious and going towards the blue light or the dark hallway to the left, he goes up the stairs. He goes up the dark and spooky stairs. Why does he go up the dark and spooky stairs when he knows that the entity is upstairs? Why'd he do that? Silly cameraman. Maybe it's because, like, going upstairs is probably his best bet for getting out, because he did fall through the ceiling, so he has to go back up. Okay, that makes sense. What is this room, though? Like, every time I see it, I think, oh, that's a refrigerator, because you have the blue light and this, like, metal block thing. We don't know. Our cameraman doesn't go there. Go see the blue light. Come on, I'm curious. I want to know. I'm not there, so I lose nothing. I've always wondered about this part, because the lights turn on and off and you can hear the click of the light switch. But you don't see a light switch. Like, is our cameraman doing that? Or is the environment doing that? Whoa. Who's turning off the lights? And now we're in a slightly different environment. This isn't, the yellow wallpaper kind of office-y looking area. This looks more like, I don't know, almost like an airport hallway or like a hospital hallway. You know those hallways that just have like absolutely nothing in them and their only purpose is to take you to a completely different wing? That's what this is. He looks through the window and he sees yet another classic liminal space photo, which a lot of people have found. Apparently it's like a hotel in England, I think. And they designed it like this. A completely, totally enclosed courtyard with, air quotes, grass. Bare ceiling. I don't know, they could at least make the ceiling blue if they're gonna pretend like this is an outdoor courtyard. But I wasn't in charge of painting, so. And you can see like the lights are on in some of the windows, which is lovely from like a world building perspective, because that implies that behind each of these little squares, these little windows, is a completely different area that he hasn't seen yet. Maybe he will, maybe he never will. But there's a world that's... Oh, that looks like people, doesn't it? Doesn't that look like two people? I'm not crazy, right? Those are two people in the corner right there. Perchance these are scientists studying the backrooms. Woo! Cameraman, you should wave to them. Maybe they'll wave back. And we have some terrifying, spooky noises of unidentifiable origin. He should totally take the rope, though, in case there's a place he needs to climb down again that he can't jump. And there's just like a random like dumpster that doesn't fit anything at all here. Oh, wait a second. At the beginning of the video, where are they? They're in like this industrial area. Hold on a second, I'm at 549. Okay, you don't really see... Looks like there's not a dumpster here. But there could be. I wonder if he's actually getting closer to where he was before. Kind of sounds like heavy breathing in a way, but like it's echoing breathing. Like, what's making that sound? Who's breathing? Is anyone breathing, or is this like machinery, maybe?
This isn't real. This isn't real.
And this is the part where he starts, like, mentally panicking, if you will. Like, obviously, he was panicking when the entity was chasing him, right? But he didn't, like, he wasn't saying, like, oh no, or blah. You know what I mean? Like, here, he actually has, like, the space for it to actually be, like, absorbing into his mind. Like, he can actually start processing it. It's really hard, though, because he's looking around like, no human would make this. We even have, like, these exit signs. Is the exit to the right? Or is it through these tunnels, presumably? And if it's through these tunnels, how do you get there? Can you get there? Are you supposed to go through there? Although even if he did have the rope, he wouldn't be able to swing across. Because there's nothing for him to tie it on. No. We have a bunch of warning signs.
This isn't real. This isn't real.
If he was extremely athletic and maybe didn't have the camera with him, maybe he could, like, jump and, like, angle himself so that he could, like, fall into one of these squares. I don't know if that's advisable, though. That's just a random idea I had. How deep does it even go? Like, it's so the space is so narrow you can't even see the bottom.
This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real.
Got some filing cabinets. Excellent. Ooh, and a fire escape exit. Hooray! Maybe this will help us. It goes upstairs. A fire escape exit that goes up. Only if you are below ground currently would that work. There's no handrail either. Voila.
You gotta be kidding me.
Well, of course you're back in the yellow wallpaper rooms, dude. What did you think was gonna happen when you went upstairs? Silly. Now, this is something that I actually did not notice on my own. When I watched this with my dad, he pointed this out. Look at the lights. Look at them. They're not in a line. They're not in a row. There's very uneven spacing between all of them. Like, we have this large space between these two lights, smaller space, much smaller space, and they're, like, bending around the walls here. Humans didn't do that, because an electrician would look at that and go, you know, it's way easier to just string the wires, you know, in even spacing in a row than whatever this is, this little serpentine action we've got. He's looking around the corners. Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? That was either an optical illusion or that was the entity following. Was that an entity? Hold on. Okay, so that was either, like, the entity's, like, leg, or that was some distortion from the camera. I can't tell, but there was a little bit of movement over there. A little bit of some suspicious movement. And of course he approaches, because, you know, he doesn't perceive that as strange. Oh, look at the slow turnaround. Oh my goodness. He's turning so slowly here. Which is kind of odd because he wasn't looking behind him. He's like turning to look in front of him at this point. Maybe he's like afraid to look? Or he's trying to calm down by moving more slowly? He turns very, very slowly this way. Oh, he's turning around a corner. He's doing it really slowly. Okay, that makes sense. He's like checking it out first, and then he approaches because he doesn't see danger, right? He pauses because he perceives something that the camera, and by extension us, we do not. Oh, dude, the chair. That's so cool. Like, the entity doesn't just run around the corner to come chase him. It throws a chair down the hallway. I don't see a logical reason for doing that, but I do see the cinematic reason behind it. Because that looks and sounds really cool and very scary. Like, oh, the entity's mad now, he's throwing chairs. But from like a logical perspective, like, you don't want your prey to know you're there before you're there, right? Like, this is announcing the entity's presence, like, hey, I'm here and I'm gonna get you. You know, like predators in the wild, like cheetahs, they wait until they're like right on top of their prey before they leap. So that they're. Speaking of predators, that is my Chihuahua. She thinks she is a great huntress. Except she does bark a lot, so that does scare away prey. But yeah, maybe if the entity was human, maybe this is more like an intimidation tactic. Because a human would do that, right? Like an animal wouldn't do that because they wouldn't do that necessarily. Because it's just easier if your prey doesn't know you're there at all. But a human would be like, yeah, I want to scare this guy. Let's throw a chair. I'll catch him anyways. Almost like a cat playing with its food. Ooh. The voice sounds different for this entity. And we'll see in a moment that maybe these are two completely different entities. Like, maybe these were two different people who got trapped in the backrooms, and one is trying to help the guy, right? The first one just wants a friend, but the second one's mad, and they want to kill. Which would explain the different, like, sound, different actions. Just listen to that. That sounds like a howl. But yeah, the first entity almost sounded human almost had like a voice. It was saying like, no, don't go, come back. And then this one's just howling like a wild animal, like a predator on the hunt. Maybe it's intimidation tactic for their prey too, like, hey, I'm over here. No, I'm over here. And then they like herd them into like a corner or whatever. Oh, which is what happens here. Our cameraman gets herded into a corner. And through this narrow slit, we see the second entity. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's definitely not the same one as the first one, right? Because the first one was a whole lot taller, had much longer torso, didn't have a neck like that. Some people have theorized that, hey, maybe this was a motion detecting camera that got corrupted by the Backrooms and became a living thing. Woo! Which also explains like a feat. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe we'll never know. We will probably actually never know, because that's one of the main strengths of like horror and fear, is that you don't know. What you don't know is scary. What you do know could still be scary, but the more you learn about it, the more you can learn how to defeat it. Which means that the more knowledge you have, presumably, the less fear you have. But that's if your knowledge leads you to, like, a way to figure out how to defeat it. Look how it moves, too. Oh, man. Like, that is so uncanny. Like, I get, like, one leg and one arm is, like, swinging up and down. Does the other leg swing? No, it doesn't. The other leg stays on the ground. Look at that. Look at that. The other leg is just sliding along the ground. Does the other arm move? Kinda. It kinda moves. Kinda moves with the shoulder. And of course, the head and neck area moves up and down and to the side with the arm. Oh, I've never noticed that before. I always thought both of the legs were moving. They're not. Only that one is. That's crazy. And then, let's see. Oh yeah, the cameraman is slowly moving to the right, like kind of hiding out of view, but keeping the entity in his sights. Staying very quiet, very quiet. Oh, the entity might have heard you there, buddy. He starts moving even though the sign said don't move. Of course he has to move, he can't just stay there, the entity's getting closer, right? Nothing behind him, but he still hears the knocking. Oh yeah, that's a loud footstep for something with such minuscule feet. Does the sound correspond to the footsteps? It's kinda off from the footsteps. What's it corresponding to? Interesting. It feels more like a heartbeat in a way. There's not like that bump, but it's just a bump. Bump. Like more like a drum beat, I guess. Still walking, presumably. There's not a whole lot of space behind you there, buddy. Dude, just jump. Just jump. Just do it. Yes! Oh my goodness. When I first watched that, it got me so bad. Oh man. Of course, now that I know what's gonna happen, I'm like, yeah, here it comes. Here comes the jump. Like, it's just not scary anymore. Which is fine with me, because it means I can watch the whole thing through without, like, looking away or closing my eyes. I can see it all. I see everything. Jump, dude. And then the entity kind of does like a little, ooh. Ooh. Like, turn around, buddy, I'm behind you. And then, oh man, look at that. It happens so fast you can barely see it, but he drops the camera down the hole and the entity grabs him. Like you see his hand, you see his head. Ooh, and you see it. Oh goodness. It happens so fast. Kane, why are you so fast? I'm gonna see if I can pause it at the right moment. There we go. And that kind of works, I guess. Kind of looks more human here, doesn't he? Ah, it's like less than a second. Okay, we're 29. Go to 30. Oh. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the shape of it looks different, doesn't it? Because that's our cameraman right there up at the top. It's like holding him up. Yeah, the legs look bigger, don't they? Yeah! Look at this guy. He's so skinny. Look how skinny he is. Look how thin and wiry. And then we get like right somewhere. Here? No, not there. Okay, here, yeah, you can still see his thin limbs. He like gets bigger. His form changes. Look at that. You see? I can't pause it fast enough. There we go. Yeah, see? Yeah, see, that's our cameraman. Not quite a bridal carry, but something close to it. And then the entity changes. It looks more human in a way. And then our camera falls through the sky. Wow. Now that's probably a non-diegetic cut. Because there's no one controlling the camera anymore, right? Lands in the grass, we hear trees, we hear birds, and we see trees. A nice, normal, peaceful world. And then that's the end of the video. But yeah, I've never noticed that, probably because it goes by so quickly. And look, the head is different too. See here, it's kind of like a camera shape, if you will, which is why some people have theorized that maybe it's a motion detection camera. Of course, I told him, you should just jump, man. Jumping actually would not have saved him. He still would have died. Because the camera falls through the sky, I don't think he would have survived that fall. I don't know which would be less terrifying. But yeah, look, doesn't the head look different here? He picks up I just can't get over how he picks up the cameraman. Yeah, he would not survive that fall. That's way too high. That's like, yeah, not without a parachute. Interesting that the camera survives. That's one heavy-duty camera, I've got to say. And then the video ends and we don't actually return to the framing device of it being a VHS. Like, we don't see the VHS getting popped out of the TV. Although I think we do see that in a later video of Kane's. I think it's Kane's. I've watched a bunch. But yeah, that's my intense reaction and analysis of Kane's first Backrooms video. I've received some suggestions for other Backrooms creators to look at, and I'll be sure to check them out. I will probably watch them first and then make a reaction / analysis, which I prefer doing because I kind of like knowing some things beforehand, because if I just do it sight unseen, my ideas are way less intelligent and interesting. Whereas after I've seen it, I've had like a lot of ideas and time to think about it and be like, oh, I didn't notice that. Look at this connection here. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I am thrilled to see the movie. No spoilers in the comments if you've seen the movie. May have to avoid comments till after I see it. I'm planning to see it, at the time of the recording tomorrow. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get this video out, but, maybe, hopefully, I'll be able to make like a little reaction to the video, to the movie after I've seen it. It might just be me going, wow, that was so cool, the end, because that's all I can think of. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye for now.